Hi guys, good morning and good evening. I hope you are able to hear me. Can anyone please confirm? Able to hear me? Okay, perfect. So in the last session, we have seen how we can use this lookup activity in order to get the list of the file, list of the tables, and how we can iterate a loop with for each activity. As many number of items are there, that many number of times it is going to be iterated. And we also came across if condition activity in order to check if I think I have explained about if condition also I explained. So if condition also we have seen how we can take only if the table is having the data that we have seen. Okay, so today I'm going to take you through one more activity. This is also is very important activity, that is get metadata activity. So get metadata activity is just to get the details of the file system and limited details of the database. It is just to get the details of the file system, that file system, any kind of file system it is, and limited database details we are going to get. So basically for database, we don't use this get metadata activity. I don't recommend. In place of this, we can use the lookup activity. We already seen lookup activity, how we can use to get the database details. So by writing a SQL code, by using system tables, we can get the details of the database. More details of the database, we can get it. So recommended for the file system, get metadata activity. So when you use the get metadata activity, make sure to have a field list property. Get metadata activity is having a field list. Without having the field list, you cannot use that. You cannot save the pipeline, or you cannot run the pipeline. Okay, so get metadata is going to expect to have a field list. So what options will be there for the field list, we are going to say, but orally this get metadata activity will be used to get the details of the directory. If I wanted to get the details of the directory, I can use the get metadata activity. So directory means like what are the files are available inside the directory. Or okay, so you can say the child items of it and what type of item it is. Those kind of details we can get when you look into the directory. In the same way, we can also get the details of the file name. Let's say I have a employee.csv and I wanted to get the employee.csv file details. Then how we can get it? So details of the file is when it is created, or is file existed or not, is directory existed or not, or what is the size of the file, what type of item it is. So all those kind of things we can say file system, we can say file details. So folder and file is part of your file system only. And we can also get the details from the database. Again, I'm repeating, it's not recommended for a database. Get metadata is not recommended for database. We can use the lookup activity. If it comes to me, I always recommend to go for lookup activity. So here I have given 3 points here to check if file existed or folder existed. If I wanted to check is my file existed or my folder existed, then we are going to use the get metadata activity. And to check or to get the list of files in a folder. So we are going to say each and everything practically. To get a list of files in the folder, or to get child items of the folder, then we are going to use get metadata activity. And if I wanted to check the size of the file also, we have to go for get metadata. And to get the list of the columns also, we are going to use the get metadata. So to check the size of the file and to get the list of the columns, we are going to use get metadata activity. So we are going to save more number of exercises with the get metadata. You can get habituated how we can use get metadata. The very first exercise I'm just going to take you through here is create a pipeline. I wanted to create a pipeline here. I wanted to get a pipeline to get the list of files in the input directory. But before that, I wanted to say create a pipeline to check file or folder existence. So I wanted to check by creating this. So in order to get the solution for this, we can use get metadata activity with a field list as exists. Exists returns true if the file or folder existed. Else returns false. So that is what it is. So let me take you through this, and I'm already having Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. I'm just going to create a data factory, a brand new data factory I'm creating. Let's go for resource group. And data factory name is area Oscar 123 and Central India. Review plus create and create. Let's go to resource. Launch a data factory studio. And here I'm creating a directory, input directory. I wanted to check is my input directory is existed or not. Let's go to author. Link service I don't need because my data source is Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. I don't need self-hosted integration runtime. And I wanted to create a pipeline. Let's create a new pipeline. Pipeline underscore get metadata file, or I'm just saying I'm going to use it for file and folder existence. So both of them we cannot do at one shot. We have to go for one by one. Okay, so I'm just going to use the same pipeline. So there is a get metadata activity. I'm going to use it. Take this activity and go to the settings. So when you go to the settings, what it is asking? Data set. You have to take the data set. Your requirement is demanding to check is file existed or not. If file existed or not, then you have to go for, you have to point to the file, which file you wanted to check. Or if it is a folder, then you have to check which folder you wanted to check is existed or not. So in this particular case, I'm going for the first folder. So in order to look into the folder, we have to create a data set to check which folder you wanted to check is that existed or not. So I'm just going to create a data set first. Let's go for new data set. But link service is required. Link service I didn't create it. Let's go here, plus new. Azure Data Lake Storage Gen 2. Link service underscore Oscar ADLS Gen 2 is the name of the account. Take a subscription, storage account, make a test connection, These are all the repeated steps. Let's go to author, create a data set, Azure Data Lake Storage Gen2, delimited. I'm just saying ds underscore data files underscore input. I'm just pointing to the input. Let's take a link service and browse the folder. So I wanted to look into the input folder, so I'm just pointing to the input folder. That is fine. I don't need first row as a header because we are not having any, we are not looking into the any data. So let's say none. We don't need the schema. Let's hit OK. So once you have done this, then you have to create a pipeline with the get metadata activity. I'm already having it. Let's take a data set, input data set. So I told you if I try to publish this, it is saying field list in the get metadata activity cannot be an empty. You have to keep that. Field list is mandatorily required here. You can see. Data set is required. We provided a data set. In the same way, you have to provide field list also. So there are various options are there when you look into the file system. When you look into the file system, you're going to have a field list here. What are the field lists we are having? You can say, I'm having child items, exists, item name, item type, last modified, and dynamic content. So I'm just going to take here is the exists. Exists is going to check is folder existed or not. Since you're looking into the folder, it is going to check is folder existed or not. If you are looking into the data, if you are looking into the file, then it is going to check is file existed or not. So this is going to give a true if the folder existed. If the folder is not existed, it is going to say false. Let me debug this. Observe the output of this activity. What it is saying. Exists is true. That is fine. And what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to take out this folder. Let's remove this. Now, if I run this, will it successfully run or is there any failure? You can respond in chat box. Will it success or will it fail? Success. Okay. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So I got few of the responses. So here it is going to be succeeded. Saying that your folder is not existed. Let me debug it. The pipeline will not be faked. I told you exist returns true if it is existed, else it returns false. That means it is success. It will go for success now. You can see the output of this is getting false here. And so if you wanted to look into the file, then definitely what you need to have is, you need to have a data set to look into the file. Let me create a new data set, Azure. And let me upload a file here. I'm just going to say input folder. Let's go inside the input folder. I'm just going to say customer.csv. Upload it. Azure Data Lake Storage Gen2, delimited text. ds underscore data files underscore input underscore file. That is customer. Let's take a link service and browse the file. What file you wanted to check is that existed or not. You can use this. Let's take a customer.csv. And first as a header, you don't need it because we are just checking existence of it. I don't need, even if you keep, that's not a problem. Let's make a none here. Hit OK. Now this data set I'm going to use in this particular pipeline to check is the file existed or not. In place of this input data set, I'm just taking input underscore customer data set. Now this time it is going to check is file existed or not. Because your data set is pointing to the file. Now you can set is true because it is available. If I remove this file from here, then if I debug again, so it is going to give a false is because it is not having the file. Now if you see the output of this, you can see it is having a false. Let's publish all. Then let's go to the next use case. Create a pipeline to get the list of files in the input directory. I'm going to keep few files in the input directory and I wanted to see what are the files available inside the file, inside the folder. Let me upload the same files. Okay, so this will be helpful for other use case also. I wanted to upload the files. So what are the list of files I'm having? Customer.csv and department.csv. What else? Employee.csv. Employee 1, 2, 3 txts. That's all. Upload them. So all the files are available. That is fine. Okay. So now I wanted to get the list of this file. To get the list of files, what you have to do is you have to use the option called child items. This is also very, very important when you use the get metadata activity. We are going to come across multiple times. So to get the list of the files or list of items, we can use the get metadata activity. To get the list of files in the folder, we are going to use the get metadata activity and make sure to use the field list as child items. So child items is going to give, the child items is going to give the list of files. And to get the list of items, then we need to look into the folder. So folder means, as I said, directory. So where do you have all these files? I have all these files in the input directory. So you need to have a data set to point to the input directory. Okay, so that is what I'm saying. So we need to create a data set folder. Do not specify the file name in the data set. So that is mandatory required. We are already having a data set for the data factory here. And if you see the list of data sets here, I'm having a data set which is pointing to the input and do not provide the file name. That is what I'm saying. Do not specify the file name when you create a data set to get the list of the files. From where you wanted to get the list of the files? I wanted to get the list of the files from the input directory because input only I'm having this list of files. Input only is having the list of files. From here, I wanted to see the list of files. So I'm having the data set. So this data set I'm going to use new pipeline. Pipeline underscore get list of files. Let's take a get metadata activity. Take a data set. Which data set it is? Input data set. Last time we have taken exists to check exists or not. Now I'm going to take child items. So these two are important. Rest of them you can ignore. Child items, I'm just going to say debug. It is going to give the list of files. Now if you see the output of this, what it is saying? Child items. Customer.csv, department.csv, employee.csv, employee1.txt, 2.txt, and 3.txt. Okay, so this role is going to be get metadata activity output.child items. Okay, so basically to get this list of items, what we are going to use is, there is a function called at item. So this at item represents this entire thing. From the item, I wanted to take the name only, this part only. Then you can write this expression something like this, at item dot name is going to give the name of the file. This is going to give this parts only, all these parts. So item means you are going to have a type also. So if you take a type, item dot type, then it is going to give a file. Okay, so depends on your requirement, you are going to use this. And why we are going to use this get metadata activity, I told you, to get the list of the files and to check is file existed or not, and to get the size of the files, we are going to use the get metadata activity. So that is what I'm just saying here. So the next use case, I'm just getting the list of files, but I'm not doing anything because I'm not giving the output of this to anyone else. I don't have any other activities to do it. So 99% we are going to have some other people to do it by taking data from the get metadata activity. That means there will be other activities. I have a requirement, create a pipeline to move the files from input to output directory. Create a pipeline to move the files from input to output directory. Last time we moved it with wildcard character, if you remember. Wildcard file path we have seen, right? If you remember, we have come across it. Now, I don't want to move the file as it is. I want to change the name of the file. I wanted to change the name of the file based on my requirement. I wanted to attach my date to the file name. You can see here. Make sure append the date. The date format is mmddyyy format to the file name. So I'm having the input here. You can say input what files I'm having. Whatever the files I already having the input, the same files available. This is the source. And my target is going to be something like this. Today's date it is going to get some, let's say for example. So since it is say April 2, this is April 2, this is April 2. Okay, so it is going to take the month, it is going to take the date format from the current date. And that's it. So you need to understand how we can do it, how we can get this. Okay, so in order to do this, we require these services. We are already having those two services. And we require Azure integration runtime to read and write because both are having the same storage. And let's break this logic. In order to implement this, first get the list of the files. Just now we have seen child items, right? Child items is going to give the list of the files. I can use the same thing. Get the list of the files. And in the second one, take the list of the files from the get metadata activity to for each activity. So why for each activity? First we have to take this file and then copy this file from source to target and make sure to append the date for this. And second, take the second file. Third, take the third file. And fourth, take the fourth file. And fifth file, and so on. But if you go for wildcard, you cannot attach the date. You cannot append the date if it is a wildcard. So if it is not a wildcard, then you can do it. You're not bringing the files as it is. So I wanted to change the name of the file. So definitely you need to give this output of this get metadata activity to for each activity. So we are going to see a new activity called for each activity. And for each activity, inside for each activity, basically for each is a container. For each is a bucket where we can keep multiple items. Every item is active. So you can keep different activities within the for each activity. So for each activity is going to have a sub activities. So use the copy data activity in for each activity to copy data from input to output. So here we need to have an input and we need to have an output. That input data set dynamically we have to create, and output data set also we have to create dynamically. So let me go and do piece by piece so that you can understand. Let's go to the data factory. And this, I don't want to use this. I'm going to create a new pipeline. We are already having a data set. Input data set is already there. Let me create a new pipeline. Pipeline underscore get metadata. Let's say one, some name, just give it. So very first activity that we are going to use get metadata activity to get the list of items. To get list of items, from where you want to get the list of items. From the input, I wanted to get list of items. Field list is what? Child items. That's all. It is going to give the list of the files. So this list of the files, I wanted to give it to someone else. That someone else in this particular case is for each activity. You have to give this list of items to the for each activity. Even we already discussed, if I'm correct, we already talked about for each activity, right? We already seen. So it is going to iterate as many number of items are there, that many number of times it is going to iterate it. Okay, so let's go here. I'm going to take a for each activity. Let's give the output of this get metadata activity to for each activity. Get metadata output to the for each activity. Last time we have seen lookup activity output to for each activity. Now we are seeing get metadata activity output to for each activity. So for each is always going to take a collection of items. So when the output is, when the input of for each is list of items or collection of items, then we can go for each activity. Otherwise, we don't go for each activity. Let's take an output of your get metadata. Let's go for sequential. Add dynamic content. I'm just going to say get metadata one child items. Why I'm going to take a child items is I have taken the field list as a child items. Let's take a child items and hit OK. So once this is done, then you need to go inside for each activity. Since we already know about for each, I'm not talking more details about the for each. So for each is going to iterate as many number of input items are coming. So here I'm going to take a copy data activity. This copy data activity is expecting what? We are given the output to for each activity. Inside the for each, I'm having a copy data activity. What it is asking? It is asking source dataset and sync dataset. So source dataset should take the file name dynamically. Source dataset should take the file name dynamically. Target dataset also should take the file name dynamically. So in order to do this, we have to create a source dataset with parameter, and we have to create a target dataset with parameter. So I'm already having source dataset. If you see here, source dataset is input customer, but I don't want to keep it for customer. Okay, so I don't want to give the name also something like this. Let's say a file. So when I say file, it will be anything, any file. I should not point to the any specific file. If you point to the specific file, then it works for that particular file only. So let me create a parameter to get the file name dynamically. I'm going to say parameter file name. Let's go to the connection. Here, you have to take parameter. So we already come across this multiple times we have seen in the last few sessions. Let's hit OK. Now do the same thing for output also. I wanted to do the same thing for output also. So if that is the case, then why you need to go for create a new data set and providing all those details? Let's clone this. So in place of this input, I'm going to say output underscore file. So here make sure to keep the output, otherwise you are not going to get the output. I mean to say, you are not going to have a output folder. When you clone it, you need to have it. Just have a look on the file path. Okay, so I can reuse it. Let's go to the pipeline. So source data set is what? Input file. Source data set is input file. So input file is asking the name of the file. You can take, I already told you, current item, that means item.name is going to give the name of the file. Hit OK. And then if you go to the sync, the sync data set is what? Output file. Output file also is asking a file name. If I take a current item.name, how exactly it is going to get, we'll see. Let's hit OK. Let me publish everything. What is that? No value provided for parameter. A file name. Parameter is fine. Input. Input is item.name. This is perfect only. Let me run it first. For each is started. Copy data 1 is started. In the output folder, you can see the file names. As many number of files are there, that many times it is going to be iterated. Now it is completed. If you go and see the output of this, all the files are there. But my output is not that. My output is asking me to add the date. But you are taking the same as it is. This is not my requirement. My requirement to have the date for. So I'm just going to take out this files from the output folder. Let's go back here. Okay, I understand, because one of the data set one of the pipeline is pointing to the here, I guess, get list of files. This one is having a problem. If I run this, see, no value provided. That is fine. I'm just going to say customer.csv. I reused it, right? So because of that reason, it is not allowing me to publish it. Let's publish now. The same data set was, I just modified the existing data set. Because of that reason, it is having it. Okay, now this is perfect. Let me close all of them. I'm just having only this data set. Sorry, pipeline. So inside this, I have a copy data activity. It is asking the source file name. I don't have any problem with this. The problem is with my target. My target is not coming as expected. So here you have to go to the sync. So this is going to give the name of the file. Just observe, this is going to give the name of the file. Let's say customer.csv. But I need only customer name only. Okay, so in SQL, we talked about the substring function. We talked about the substring function in SQL Server. Let's say at substring. So from here, I wanted to take at item.name is going to get the name of the file. So from here, I wanted to take the characters from the beginning, that is 0. A number of characters is till dot position, we have to take it. So if you remember, we can use index of. So index of is just to find the position of the character. In SQL Server, we have a char index function to get the position of the character. And in Data Factory, we are going to use index of. Index of is just to find the position of the specified character. So here, let's open a bracket. And I'm just going to have a at item dot name, comma. What do you want to find? I want to find the dot position. So wherever it is available, the dot position, it is going to give the dot position. And then close your substring function. Number of characters is till dot position, you have to get it. So this one, I don't need to take it. I don't need to have this at also here. So we already come across this kind of functionality as part of the SQL. I talked about substring function to get the first name and last name. So think this is a first name and this is a last name. If I need only a first name, then how you can get it? Okay, so here we are not having the left function if I'm correct. If I have a left function, we can also use the left function to get the customer. And so this is going to give what? The name of the file. After that, what you require? Date format also is required. We already know how we can get the date format. If you remember, we already seen how we can get the date. We already come across it. Yes, give me 1 minute, please. I'm sorry, man. Okay, so date format, we already seen how we can get the date format. To get the current date, what we are going to use? UTC now, right? We already seen this. This output of this function, we are going to give it to format data. At format data. And which format you wanted to take? dd YYY. Okay, so this should not have at inside this. This is going to give a date format. And CSV is common for my requirement for all the files it is having a .csv, whatever the extension it is. So what I am going to do here is, first part is file name. Second part is date. I'm going to combine them to get this output. So I wanted to get the output like customer underscore 04 02 2024 .csv. So to get this up to this part, I can use this one, right? This entire thing I can use inside the concatenate function. At concat this part is this particular area, and then underscore. So this is one part, underscore is another part. Give a underscore, and then third part is date. So date, to get the date, I'm going to use this. This is date, and then .csv. .csv is a fixed. Let's close this. So inside, if you have any at symbol, so just take out that. We don't need it. So this part is going to give the name of the file, and for the file, it is going to give an underscore, and it is going to attach the date, and it is going to have an extension as .csv. Let's take a copy of this expression, and you have to give that expression to here. Somewhere it is having a commas or missed, if I'm correct. Here it is. One more it was missed to take out from here. So it should not be there inside. Let's hit OK. Now if I debug this, then it is going to get 100% expected answer. So I don't have any files in the output. I'm just going to run once it is published. And let me run this. So one time copy data is completed. Okay, go and say starting looking your output. We can find the dates for the file. We can see customer underscore date .csv, department underscore date .csv, employee underscore date CSV. It is come. So if we can understand SQL, in SQL, I talked about how we can get the part of the text and how we can combine them. We have seen concatenate function, and you have to understand how we can take the part of the text. Then you can think about the functions. Okay, so if I go to the data factory here, when you write the expression, just search for these functions. Okay, so index of. You can see. Find the index of a value within a string. Case insensitively. So it's not a case sensitive. Okay. For example, they have given example for every function also. So whatever the function they are having, you can say substring function. Substring, you can see it. And left is, I think it is not available. Left is not available. So if you go for completely like string functions, you can say all string functions together. Concatenate function, we already seen in SQL Server also is the same as CSV. I mean to say SQL. And two lower, two upper, uppercase functions. We have a upper in SQL. Here it is a two lower and two upper. Okay, so you can feel the same. There will be no much differences. So just go through the few of the function, you can understand it. And the next activity I'm going to take. So here what happens? Same extension we are keeping for all the files. My source is txt, but my target is CSV. The extension is fixed, but I wanted to get this extension also dynamically. I wanted to get it. That means if my extension is txt, then I wanted to keep txt. If my extension is JSON, then I wanted to keep my JSON. So same extension I wanted to keep, but make sure to have the date. So same to same. The only part is, instead of hard coding this, we need to make it dynamic. First, let me set up these files in the data source, in the input directory. Let me take out this output. I don't have an output folder now. Input, I'm just going to keep customer.csv. I'm just taking out these files also here. 1, 2, 3, and department JSON and employee.parquet files. I'm just going to take it. Additionally, these 4 files. Let's upload. Department.json. Here it is. Employee.parquet. Let's upload it. Now, I wanted to create a file. That file should have the same extension. Whatever the source extension is having, the same extension I wanted to keep it. So same to same pipeline. There is no change in the pipeline. The only change that we are going to do is expression. So in the copy data activity here, we are having this much expression, right? So the same expression I'm just taking back to here. Same to same. But this one you have to get dynamically. To get this dynamically, you have to write substring function. You have to use the substring function. So that is what we have seen, right? Let's say I want to take characters after the space, after the dot. If you remember last name, how we get it, last name with substring function in SQL Server, in the same way you are going to get it. Okay, so I'm just taking the same value here. At substring. File name is this customer.csv, right? What is the starting position? Starting position is after the dot I wanted to take it. After the dot I wanted to take it. So from dot position plus 1 you have to get it. Okay, so to get dot position we have seen already. Let me take the directly item.name instead of taking the file name, because I already given a reference here to understand. I'm just taking Item.name is the name of the file. From here, after the dot, we need to take it. Dot position, we are going to get with this function plus 1. But in Data Factory, in activity level, we don't have a plus operator. So instead of plus, we have to use the function called add. Add, comma 1. Okay, so I'm just estimating and writing. If there is any change, I'm going to modify the expression. And once this is done, then that is the starting position. And then total length minus dot position. Total length, to get the total length, we have a function called length function. You can see in the functions list. Length is available here. Okay, you can see the expression also. Returns 3 for length of A, B, C. Okay, so that is what I'm just saying. Item dot name. Total length is going to get minus dot position. Same, just copy this. So this is how it is going to get it. But we don't have a minus symbol. We don't have a subtraction. For that, we have a function sub. So take out this minus from here, give a comma. So sub is going to subtract two numbers. So this is going to give the extension of the file. Whatever the extension it is. Let's cut this and paste it in this particular place. It should not be there. You have to take out it. That's all. Let's take this entire copy and paste it. Okay, let's hit OK. Let's publish all. So output folder is not available here. You can see no output is available. I'm going to run this once it is published. Let's debug it. Oh, failed. Okay, that is fine. So this is the problem. Okay, so if you have this kind of situation, the better practice is, because sometimes you will not write exactly how exactly it is getting. So for that reason, I'll create one empty pipeline, create a variable file name, and use set variable activity, write the expression here. But when I'm writing an expression, wherever there is a item.name, I'm just going to give the file name. So file name should be there in a single quote. Ranges of the columns. Let's take this entire expression and paste it here. Try again, paste it, not getting. That is fine. Hit OK and run this pipeline. So which value it is getting, we just update. Okay, substring parameter range. In the length, start index and it is getting negative index. What we can do is, the problem is with this one. total length minus the dot position, right? Customer.csv. If I'm correct, definitely it is not going to be added. Let's say without this. So I can also execute part by part and see how the result is getting. If it is still getting an error, then I'll go by part by part. Let's observe this. You're getting as expected, right? That is perfectly all right. So expression here is you have to take out this in the pipeline. I mean to say in the get metadata, sorry, in the copy data activity. So here you have to take out this. So add is not required because from the dot position you have to take it. We don't need it. Now this is going to work. Let's debug it. So while you are practicing, take this part first. Then combine this with concatenate. Then add this, something like this. You can go by piece with variable activity. In the starting session, I explained how we can get it. At the time of set variable activity, I explained. If we go now in the output directory, say you can say output department.json is going to get as a JSON object. Okay, so whatever the extension it is having, the same extension it is going to bring it. Now it is succeeded. If you go and see all the files in the target, they are having exactly whatever the extension we are having in the source, the same extension along with the date we are having it. Okay, the next use case is, so same get metadata activity. Okay, so now I'm going to do this exercise based on the size of the file. So the requirement here is one of the interview person, it is they have given the practical use case to do it by saving their system. Okay, so create a pipeline to remove the files from the input directory if the size of the file is less than 2 KB. If the size of the file is less than 2 KB, then only I wanted to delete it. Otherwise, I don't want to delete it. So in order to delete a file or in order to delete a folder, we are going to use the activity called delete activity. So delete activity is used to remove the folder. Delete activity is used to remove the file. But in this particular use case, I'm going to remove the file based on the condition. The condition here is the size of the file should be less than 2 KB. So 1 KB is equivalent to 1024 bytes. And 2 KB means that is 2048 bytes. First get the list of the files. Then those list of the files, give it to for each to give the size of the file. First we'll get the list of the files and give this list to the for each activity. For each also going to have one more get metadata. It will take a first file and give the size, take the second file, give the size, and third file, give the size. So how exactly it is going to get? Let me show you how exactly it is going to be happen. Let me go to the pipeline. Create a new pipeline. pipeline underscore delete files if size is less than 2 KB. If the size is less than 2 KB, then I wanted to do it. Let's take a first get metadata. What you have to get? You have to get the list of the files. To get the list of the files, you have to look into the input file. So that is what input I wanted to look into that. Okay, this one. Field list. Field list is what? Child items. Okay, so but I'm just going to keep the same files in the. Let me keep some files. Okay, not this files. Because this is, I wanted to keep the file something like this. Randomly, I'm just going to upload 3 files here. Like less than 2 KB files and greater than customer.csv I'm taking. And department.json file I'm taking. Department.excel I'm taking. And here employee.json file. Employee.xml file. Users file. So some files I'm taking. So here 3 files are having more than 2 KB and 3 files are having less than 2 KB. So 2 files are there with less than 2 KB. Okay, let me upload 3 more files. One, two, three. They're having less than 2 KB. So many files are there here now. Now if I run this pipeline by taking a child items, it is going to give the list of files. This is going to give list of files. You can see all the files. But when you look into the folder, you cannot get the size. Size is not available, you can see. So for folder, you cannot get the size. Only for the file, you can get the size of the file. So the output of this get metadata activity, give it to for each activity. Give the output to for each activity. And for each is taking the output of the get metadata activity 1, that is child items, and hit OK. And inside this, I'm going to use one more get metadata. This one is going to point into the file. Let's go to the settings. It is going to take a file name from the for each. Let's take an input file. So it is asking file name, right? I'm reusing the existed data set. Starting up the today's session, we created it. Now I'm taking item.name is going to give name of the file. Hit OK. Item.name is going to give the name of the file. And what is the field list? Field list is what? Size. I wanted to say the size of the file. Okay. So up to here, I'm just going to run. Just observe how exactly it is going to get it. For each and every file, it is going to give the size. Previously, without I mean to say, we didn't check the size of the file. Okay. So now I'm just checking the size. You can see first is giving the list of files here. And second get metadata is giving first what is the input of this. You can see customer.csv. Customer.csv is having output called 182 bytes. Second file, second get metadata. What is the file name? Department.json. Okay, so department.json is 426 bytes. And third activity is what? Department.xlsx. Third one is department.xlsx. What is the output of this? Size of the file, 2385. So for each and every file, we're getting the size. We're getting the size. You can see what it is. Output dot size. Output dot size. Get metadata to activity dot output dot size. Let's go inside this for each. So get metadata output get metadata to output, I wanted to give it to if condition activity. We already know about if condition activity. Let's make a connection of this. We know the condition, how we can write a condition here. What is the output of this? Activity outputs. You have to take get metadata to, not one. Go for get metadata to size. You can see here, size. This is going to give the size here. The size of this file is going to be given if it is less than 248. If it is less than 248, then I can do it. But we don't have an operator, right? In Data Factory, activities level, we don't have this operator. In place of this, we can use the less function. Less, take out this and give a comma. And close here, less function. Take out this at from here and take this expression. We are seeing the count with lookup activity. Now we are seeing with the get metadata. Size is always going to be single row. Hit OK. And if the size is less than 2048 less than 2048 bytes, then I wanted to delete the file. Here we can use the activity called delete activity. So delete activity is very simple. It's just going to ask the source data set input. So I wanted to concentrate only on input. File name is what? At item.name is the name of the file. And I wanted to keep the log also. We can keep the log details. I'm just taking a logging details and browser folder here. Let's hit OK. And I'm just going to say logs. So inside the data files, I'm just going to create a folder called logs. Okay, so what files are deleted, it is going to explain about it. Let's publish everything. We already know if condition activity, how we can check the condition. And for each activity, we already come across it. Let's debug it. So now we have a few files, right? So all these files, out of all these files, the files which are having less than 2048 bytes are going to be removed. Let's debug it. Only if it is less than 2 KB, then only it is going to execute the delete activity. Otherwise, delete is not going to be executed. Now, if we go and refresh this input folder, we can have only the files which are having less than, greater than 2048 KBs. Okay. If it is greater than 2 KB, then we are having the file size. Otherwise, we are not having the data. This is about this. So this is simple. We can also try. Okay, so with directly copy data activity, dynamically, I wanted to create a folders. If you are not interested to have the date to the file, something like this. Okay, if you don't keep your date to the folder, to the file name, then we can also go for different approach. We can have a 2024 is the folder name. Inside output is a folder. Inside output, I have a 2024. Inside 24, the month is 04. And inside 04, I have a 02, that is a second day. So if this is the case, then how you can handle it? Just have a look here. It will not take more than 5 minutes. So I'm just going to create a new pipeline. Copy data, hierarchy, date I'm just giving. So I can go to the wildcard. Okay, so I'm already having a data set with input folder, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take out all these files from here first. Let me upload the files as per the requirement, customer.csv and employee.csv. Customer.csv, employee.csv, and so I don't have an output folder. Okay, I have it output folder. Let me take out this folder. Logs details, if you go and see last activity, delete activity are done, right? So it is going to provide the log details here, which file is deleted. If there is an error, what is the error that you're having? So those details are going to be captured. That's fine. So inside the data files, I don't have a output folder. So I'm having only input folder with the two files, that is customer.csv and employee.csv. So here what you can do is you can get the list of the files. To get all these files as it is, the file extension is not changing. If you want to change the extension, then you have to go for files. Otherwise, you can use directly copy data activity. You can use the copy data activity directly. Source is what? Input. So here we have to go with the wildcard file path, and input I'm taking my file names are star. Any kind of extension it is going to take it. So in the sync, I'm going to take a sync data set. So sync data set, what you have to do is you have to provide the folder name also. Okay, you have to provide the folder name. So how I'm going to give the folder name? Let me open this data set. This folder name also I wanted to provide it dynamically. Okay, so I'm just going to say you can create a folder or you can directly write an expression here itself. Let's use the concat. Inside concat, output is fixed. Output folder name is fixed. Give a slash, comma, and then what is required? Only 4 digits of the year is required. 4 digits of the year to get it. We know it already. Format date time, UTC now, comma, YY is going to give 4 digits of the year. And later that we need to have a slash because it is a directory, right? Need to have a slash. And then 2 digits of the month. Same format date time, UTC now, comma, MM is going to give the month number. Again, we are going to give a slash. And then you need to have a day number. So same format date time, UTC now, DD. I don't need a slash, so just close this. Because why I'm not taking a slash here is because in the data factory, after this we have a slash here. So since I'm having a slash, I'm not taking it again. So just cross verify, know where it is at. Let's take this expression. So you know already how we can get the part of the dates. And concatenate function. Nothing more difficult here. Let's go here and paste it. That's all. Hit OK. Now, if I run this pipeline, what happens is it is going to create a folder with the date hierarchy. Let me go to the pipeline. Where is my pipeline? Yeah, here it is. I have not given the prefix as a PL, so not able to find where is my pipeline. Okay, so let me debug this. If I debug it, here I don't have a output folder. Now let's debug it. No parameter, no value provided for parameter. Okay. Parameter we have to provide, right? What is the name of the file? Okay, so file name is not required for this. Okay, let's open this data set and just going to remove this. I don't need a file name. File name is as it is, same to same. Only this is always going to change. So what I'm going to do is, let's take out this, because if I have a parameter, then it is going to ask you to pass the value. Let's debug it. Update parameter. Where is this? That is fine. You can debug it. I don't need to publish. I can go for debug because the data set affected, right? Previously, one of the data set we used parameters, so it is not allowing. That's fine. But here my intention is to run this pipeline. I don't need to publish. Now it is succeeded. Let's go and see the output folder. In the output folder, 2024, inside 2024, 04, inside 04, 02. Inside that I have a customer.txt and employee.txt. So if you need a same extension, then you have to use for each activity. Okay, so it's same to same. File name also you are going to pass it. Okay, so you can try in that case. Okay, so how we can get with the extension. Okay, whatever the extension you have, or if you want to change the extension, how you can get it. That you can do it with get metadata only. Okay, so if you wanted to do it, but for folder level, you have to write this expression to create a folder. Okay, so dynamically, this is how we are going to handle it. So I'm stopping here. If you have any question, you can ask me. Unmute yourself and you can ask me a question.
I have one question.
Yeah, Veera.
In a field list, whatever the item that we have selected, so the same item we need to be used in copy for each activity.
Exactly. In output, when you are taking output of get metadata, whatever the field list you have taken, same option you can find in the activity output that you have to select.
And one more thing in the last pipeline.
Mhm.
So if you want to create a folder, dynamically we need to use backward slash.
Yes, definitely. Folder means we have to take a slash, right?
Okay.
You have to take it. Otherwise, it will be like a entire thing will be one file name.
Okay. So we need to mention output and the 3779 number. That we have to mention or not required, like.
This is if it is a dynamic again you can keep it, but if it is a static, because this is a fixed only, right? So
Yeah,
you can keep static value if it is a fixed. But here day number is going to be changed, month number is going to be changed, year also going to be changed.
Yeah.
So I'm keeping dynamically.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone else?
Bhaskar, one question.
Yeah, Venkat.
See, for example, so we are using this format data, right? So for today, it's April 2nd, okay? So if we want to run the run this job tomorrow, it will do
03.
April 3rd.
Yes, under
Okay.
04, one more
Yeah.
folder will be created.
Oh, is it created with the new data? But it
Yes,
is in a
new
month.
folder. Yes, within
Okay,
the month.
won't delete it. It won't override anything.
No, it will not.
Okay, okay.
Okay, okay then. If we have no questions, any question, Kiran?
Yeah, and also one thing.
Mm-hmm.
For example, so we created this, right? So till, I mean, for April, let's assume it's a 30 days, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The next month, May came, okay? So by
Okay.
that it will create new folder for new month, huh?
Yes.
And with how it will
05.
calculate?
It takes month from the current day.
Yeah, month from current only, but it how it is identified, like this month only having
What
this
is the
many
current
days.
month? No,
Yeah, it's April.
that system can understand. You don't worry about it. System
Okay.
can understand how many days are there per month. Also, that it will understand. Otherwise, no one can have any application, right? 100% is. It will be configured in that way.
Okay. Yeah, I think we need to start practice.
Yeah. So do start doing practice. So in SQL also we come across the concatenate. Okay. So because of this reason, I explained starting itself. I explained about the SQL. So SQL definitely is getting helpful when I explain expressions here. Okay. Okay, then I'm stopping here. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for joining.